Hey everyone, welcome to the Withering Effect episode 41. Today's date is 4/20/20, and I am Duds, or Duds versus, known to the rest of the interwebs.
And I am Jimbo, also known as Jimbo Slice 23. How's your week been so far, Duds?
My week's been pretty awesome. I want to start with saying that I hit the affiliate goal for Twitch.
Yeah.
That's not a huge goal, but because considering I spent years on Mixer and finally moved to Twitch, it's kind of big for me. I got my first emote done, which I'm probably going to change. I'm probably going to hire an artist on Fiverr or something to hook me up with something better, because I stink at the emotes. That was a lot of work for something that it looks bad.
It's only got to be like so many pixels or something like that.
Well, you have to have like 3 sizes. So it's like a 72, a 56, and a 20-something pixel thing. Oh, wow. So I was like, oh, geez. So, yeah, probably going to redo it, especially considering, wink, wink, hint, hint, my skin's changing for Ripple Season 3 like normal. But along with my skin, my logo and stuff, basically it's going to be a big rebranding. I shouldn't say big, because it's not going to be a big rebranding, but a little rebranding.
I did the same.
Yeah, you've done the same.
Yeah, but congratulations.
Thank you.
Affiliate. Yeah. That's awesome.
I
didn't take it too long. I mean, you kind of cruised right to it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was nice. I've been having a lot of great Saturday morning streams, so that really helped. I've got 2 subscribers on there now, too. So
sweet.
It's very cool. But getting into what we did on Minecraft, I moved my cow farm. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. The listeners are going like, what is he winking about? It's because I typed moved, MOOVED in the notes.
I didn't even know why you're winking at me. I can't even see you.
Jimbo's like, did he touch my note?
I'm like, okay, that's a good one. Don't understand, but
but I've done that, and that took most of the episode for the most part. I built the cow shop per se, and then in like 3/4 the way through the time lapse, I decided it was ugly and I really hated it. So I tore it down, and that wasn't even the first time I had built it. That was like the 3rd time I had built it, and just decided, well, if I time lapse it, I have to build good. And then it turns out, no, I do not.
Not the case.
Yeah, so the 4th time I didn't time lapse it. I just put on a good movie and was like, hey, just play Minecraft. Let it happen. And I think the final building turned out really good. So
yeah, it's definitely the advantage of putting it in creative and doing it in survival for the time lapses. Definitely helps.
Yeah, so I did that, and then we had the first affiliate stream, and that was a lot of prepping for the dragon fight, which we're going to talk about a little bit later in our main topic. But I over prepped for but had a lot of fun. My roommate's been in and out of my office a lot lately, so I've been putting him to work working the camera account. So he ended up recording the dragon fight for me in the 3rd-person time lapse.
That's cool.
Yeah, it didn't really turn out good per se in time lapse form, but it turned out really good if I used the footage he shot as a montage. So this dragon. Yeah, you said you hadn't gotten to that part yet.
Yeah, I haven't got to that part yet. Yeah. Just to throw that out there.
Well, no spoilers, but the montage turned out really good. I was really happy with it.
Okay. I'm
excited
to see it.
My dragon drops an elytra because I ain't got time to go pillaring out and walking to find an end city. So
nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. So I got my elytra, and I've been flying around my little peninsula like crazy, going, I'm going to put something here and put something here. And once now I've got an aerial view, I'm like, oh, this is good order. Good. But yeah, that's kind of all I've done. I built a bridge last night. That was kind of fun, but that's not going to be in anything till the next week's episode.
Yeah.
But what about you, Jimbo? What have you been working on this week?
Well, I the new snapshot came out. About to cover that. So I went inside the Nether to check it out. Didn't do any survival, but I was looking around for the new piglin bastions, and they're not as big as the Nether fortresses, but they're a good size, and I found a good bit of them. I found probably 3 different types, maybe 5 different ones total. This is just going in a creative world and just looking around, and Yeah, I did want to mention that they're not as rare as you would think. They're probably just as rare as a fortress.
Yeah.
As a nether fortress. So,
yeah,
you can definitely get around to finding those.
Yeah, like the other major nether things, I haven't done it in person. I just watched the videos, got the information for the show, because I'm trying to save it for seeing in person. The music and the ambiance update, as I call it, I couldn't not indulge in that because that was so cool. That's probably one of the things I'm so excited for. The particle effects and the backlighting. It's going to be so awesome. Yeah, keep going.
Mm-hmm. And I noticed that they could spawn in any biome in the nether. This, I might want to mention this during the features, but figured I'd tell you now. But this is just something I was checking out. I see the new snapshot, and sometimes I'm curious enough to go in there and look at it. I'm kind of like you. I want to kind of experience it in survival for myself. But there's some things where you just got to see. And when I saw the video, the Bastions, I was like, man, I got to go check this out. And yeah, besides that, I was able to get my hands on the RTX Bedrock version because I do have a 2060 graphics card.
Yep.
And I was able to play around with that a little bit, but I want to hold off on my thoughts because that is also in our featured news. But besides that, that's about all I got.
Awesome. Well, speaking of the news, let's just jump in there because I really want to talk RTX with you. So we'll get through the snapshot first. This is snapshot 20W16A. The features are added the Bastion Remnants, added ruined portals, added chain blocks, woohoo, added a new music disc called Pigstep by Lena, I'm going to say Raine. I'm probably saying that wrong, and if I am, guys, let me know because obviously deserves really good credit because that song is awesome.
Yeah, she's doing a really good job with the music so far. Yeah. I think it's Lena Raine. I think you're right.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get into what the Bastion Remnants are. There are 4 separate remnant types: a bridge, hogland stable, housing units, and treasure room. You can find these sizable structures in all biomes in the nether except the treacherous ash-dusted towers of basalt deltas. A lot of words. Explore, loot, and conquer a Bastion Remnant to call your home. But beware, piglins don't take kindly to intruders stealing their things. Wow, words. So, it sounds like if you kill all the piglins in the Bastion, they don't respawn. So, I don't think you could, farm them there.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that, but I know if you were to just run in there with your gold, and you'd be safe and everything. As soon as you get in that chest, and they're around, they will attack. So you might want to clear it out a little bit, at least around the loot area.
I saw a guy on Reddit. I wish I could remember his name. He goes, "This is how you loot chests without having piglins attack you," and he just broke the block under the chest and put a hopper.
Ooh.
Because they can't tell if you look into a hopper.
Yeah.
So you just steal stuff out of the hopper and then you're good.
Oh my god. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. If you don't want to kill the pigman and don't plan on building anything here, then yeah. That's perfect.
The only complaint I had is that they're really ruined structures. So there's a little bit of parkouring, and I stink at parkour, so I can only imagine I'm just going to fall in the lava at some point.
Yeah, there's little ruiny tunnels throughout the whole building. It's kind of hard to navigate, so that's another thing.
Yeah,
that's one thing I didn't like too much, but I guess it's definitely different.
Definitely is. It looks nothing like anything else in Minecraft, and I think it's a great looking build. It's just I know I'm gonna die at some point.
Yeah.
Let's get to
pretty good odds.
The ruined portals. Because that's another kind of cool feature, but something I kind of have a little bit of a problem with. Lore-wise, makes perfect sense to have ruined portals in the game. Functionality-wise, makes perfect sense to have ruined portals in the game. It's a great way to let someone who's new to Minecraft go, hey, look, there's another dimension here. Finish this square, light it up, and you can get somewhere. So, yeah, it's a great... I don't want to say tutorial level, but hint at there's something more in the game. My only problem is that when these things spawn in the middle of a plains biome, they look weird.
Yeah. On the other side too, you'll find them in these lava lakes.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm probably not gonna want to go there, let alone go there on my own. But they do have loot with them.
I did see cool. That. A lot of gold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you won't find any, what's that? The netherite or the ancient debris like you would in the Bastion Remnants. You will find those in the Piglin Bastions, but not in the portal chests.
I think that's going to be how I'm getting a lot of my netherite.
Yeah.
I'm going to go like 10,000 blocks out, so when I'm on the Ripple Effect server, I'm not messing with anybody else, and I'm just going to raid all of those things for netherite.
Yeah, I was curious if you can make a base out of it. Thought that'd be pretty neat.
That would be pretty cool.
I have a feeling someone's already thought about it and is prepping for it. But yeah, Piglin base, man, I'd like to see one of those. I might even take it on. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly blackstone, right? So you could actually dig up more blackstone and complete the structure so it's not all ruined.
Yeah, change it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Could look really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for another thing I'm excited for, chain blocks.
Yeah. Oh, they look cool.
Chains, finally.
And they go perfect with your lanterns.
They really do. It's kind of like they just took the little bit of chain with the lantern and made a full block out of it.
I think they specifically made them for the lantern. That's what it looks like. I mean, it goes best with it.
Mm-hmm. Now, my question is, I haven't played with them, obviously, and the people I've seen using them have only been using them vertically. Can they be placed horizontally?
I don't know. I don't think I've tried it. That would be way better.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Kind of like the, what is it? The end light.
Oh, end rod.
The end rod. The end light, jeez. Yeah, you could place it sideways or vertically.
Yeah.
That'd be cool if it had that feature. But I'm really not sure if it does.
The first thing I thought of was a drawbridge with a moat, and you have like the 45-degree sagging chain. And I'm like, that'd be really cool, but you can't really do that with this block.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as I know, it's just vertical.
Yeah. But that also brings me to, are we going to be able to make chainmail in survival finally?
I was just about to say that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I feel like they're kind of leaning towards that way. It's a great idea. It's kind of practical, use for it. So I expect to see it.
Very much. I'm trying to think of other things for chain blocks. Oh, does this mean we'll finally get rope blocks also? Really, I don't even want rope blocks. Like, leave leads, but allow me to connect one end of a lead to a fence post and the other end of the lead to a fence post.
Yeah.
You don't even have to add a new block. Just allow that to happen and function, and I will be so excited.
I did notice, I think it was on Nash Crafters, where she buried a chicken that was on a lead.
Mm-hmm.
And put the other side of the lead onto her build, and it looked like the build was being held down by the lead.
Yes.
Because the rope was inside the ground. That's the only way I know you could get something similar to a rope block.
Yeah, and one of the data packs that are going out there is so you can silence mobs, which is real nice. I've got that on my single-player world. You just name tag silenced, and then you name the animal that, and the animal no longer makes any sounds. So it's great for that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I do want to go back. I want to mention that the portals that are generated aren't necessarily the 3x2s that you're used to. Or it's not 3x2; it's 5x4, I believe, originally. But they're a bunch of different sizes. Mainly, they're bigger than the normal portal size. But that's how you'll find them. Just to throw that out there.
Gotcha. The last feature added was the new Nether music disc titled Pigstep. Oh, and it's a great listen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was jamming out.
I love it. Again, if you want to hear more about this music disc, go to our musical engineer's YouTube page. He does the entire thing on Pigstep.
Yep.
Very good watch.
Yeah, he's got all Lena Raine's music on there.
Mm-hmm.
And it plays all the way through to where you don't have to stop it. There's no talking or anything. You just play the song, listen to it.
He also has a note block version of the song already.
That's right. Yeah, I almost forgot about that. That's amazing how he did that.
It's kind of a short snapshot this week. There were a lot of technical changes that we didn't really do notes for, because a lot of it was just over our heads. And you guys know how we are. We're not super technical, and we don't like talking about stuff we don't know because we don't want to lead you down the wrong path. So if you want to read some of those changes in the show notes, like always. But yeah, let's move on to other news. You got some, Jimbo?
Yes. What I mentioned earlier, the Bedrock released an RTX beta. Mm-hmm. Now, like I said before, you need a graphics card. This is for the PC, though you might have Bedrock and you play on your Xbox or PlayStation. Is it on PlayStation?
Yeah, it's on PlayStation.
I think it is now.
PlayStation finally upgraded to Bedrock.
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to play the RTX without that graphics card, which is pretty much PC only. Now you can go from a RTX 2060 or an RTX 2080, 2070 also, anywhere between those. I have a 2060. It's not a Super, it's not a TI, and everything works fine. They give you 6 different worlds to explore. There's an amazing, like a coral reef type of palace. Can't remember who built that, but it looks amazing. The graphics are unreal.
I want to say one of those was Pearlescent Moon.
Yeah, she made the Neon City.
Okay, yeah.
I know Gemini Tay built the castle. There's a castle build. That looks amazing too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just the lighting in there it's so realistic. Yeah. Every room you go into, you don't even have to go into a room. Underwater.
I will say, every week, me and Jimbo talk about Bedrock or whatever on the show, and we both kind of give it the good ribbing, because both of us are Java tryhards, and we'll probably always stick to Java. But watching this RTX demo, I went, if there was anything to pull me away from Java to play Bedrock, it's those graphics.
Yeah. And you notice a lot of YouTubers that do Java Minecraft were making videos about this because it was so amazing to them. Mm-hmm. And the same thing with the feel. Like, I played it for a little bit. I played a little bit in survival just to get the feel for it, but most of it was creative. These maps are all done for you that are in the beta. So I kind of went out there and just looked around. Like I said, the lighting is amazing through the trees. It reflects through the trees. Colors, like it will reflect through the colors.
I really like the colored lighting that was in.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, why don't we have that in the game already? I want it.
But I think those were like terracotta blocks that were just modded.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you could get those with that RTX graphics, yeah, that would be pretty awesome. But I did I went around a little bit, and like I said, after so long, you don't even know you're on Bedrock. I didn't even feel like I was on Java. I felt like I was playing a different game. And if you press F5 and look at yourself, your character looks different. He's more in depth. It's more 3D. It was just unreal. You see the videos and...
Oh, man, don't be telling me this. I'm going to have to move to Bedrock now.
Yeah. You're going to have to get a graphics card.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. I have a 1070, which for at the time was a pretty good card.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, now I'm kind of like... And if I get a new graphics card, I'm just going to buy a whole nother PC or build a whole nother PC. Because I've had my mind set on building one of those mini ITX PCs, the real small form factor ones. And this Bedrock RTX, man, it just looks so good.
Yeah.
I've never been one to drool over graphics. Heck, my favorite game is Minecraft. So I don't drool over graphics. But this RTX, come on.
Yeah, and with a 2060, I was running it just fine. Mm-hmm. You don't need a 2080 Ti to run this program. It did crash a couple times, but it is beta, and they said that would happen.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about the graphics card in that sense. Pretty sure it's it's the game side.
Were you able to keep up with your frames at all?
Yeah, I actually didn't have my frame rate up. I might have to look at that. But everything looked real smooth.
I was going to say, all the videos doesn't show any kind of jittering or whatever, but basically everyone who did a video had a 2080 Ti, which in the PC world, for you guys who don't know, is kind of like the top tier graphics card right now, which is really weird because Minecraft in general doesn't really use a graphics card. Like, that's not its main source of graphical power. It does all of its graphing through numbers and computes through the CPU. So you could have that's why like an Intel i9 CPU is very good for running Minecraft, because it's a single thread CPU, and Minecraft's a single thread game. It doesn't use multi-thread with graphics card to make up for it. And that's why you see a lot of these YouTubers who do Minecraft use that CPU and get incredibly high frame rate, even with straight shaders on. But me and Jimbo both chose AMD because it's a better multi-processing chip, which means it renders videos better. We could live stream on the same PC. Yeah. So
it's a lot better for streaming.
Yeah, if you're just playing Minecraft and you're really wanting to do this Bedrock thing or whatever, of course, it looks like this Bedrock update is using your GPU more than you are CPU. So if that's what you're looking for, you don't have to worry about anything I just said.
Yeah. One more thing I want to mention is you actually have a reflection.
Yeah, the mirror effect.
Yeah, that was awesome. Though, looking in the mirror, you just see an arm.
Mm-hmm.
A floating right arm. I mean, I'm right-handed, so mine's the right arm. But yeah, that's kind of strange. If you go into another viewpoint, you get to see your whole self in the mirror. But it's just cool, not just seeing yourself, but other builds reflecting through the mirror and everything. It puts you right there, man. It's a totally different feel, and it feels great.
How many times have we seen someone do like the mirrored floor effect where they're just building the entire build upside down?
Oh my god.
You wouldn't have to do that with RTX.
Yeah. Looks great, but yeah, what a ton of work.
Uh-huh.
That's something I just couldn't commit to.
No. I'm telling you, like, I went and got my Bedrock copy because I think today, by the time you guys hear this, the free giveaway is over for people who have had Java since like 2018. So,
yeah.
Sorry, I put a little notice in Discord. Hey, time's running out. Get your free copy. I went and got my free copy of the Bedrock just because of this RTX, in case I were to get an RTX graphics card at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It looks so good.
I'm actually thinking about doing like a series on it if it were to come out.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends. I don't know. It would be a single player, I imagine. Maybe not.
Yeah. Rubbing in my face, I can't do it.
Can't think of what's in store. I'm sure it's, you get to do everything you've done before except with just amazing graphics. Just rubbing it in one more time.
Yeah. Of course, now with this, I want to see where does this put shader makers for Java.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're not going to be able to do everything the RTX can do because, I mean, it's a lot of mathematical prowess that goes into these graphics cards. That's why they're so advanced and everything. But if somebody could figure out a way to do that for shaders in Java, that would be really cool. And to know that they're having all these calculations going on in the background would be nuts.
As far as I know, there are like Java RTX graphics, but you have to pay a good bit to get a hold of those. Like, it's not like a free shaders you can just get. To get that RTX graphics, because as soon as I got the card, I wanted to go check it out and see what it was about. And all the YouTube videos, the graphics were amazing, just like the ones I was looking at Bedrock. But I'd try to look for it, and you'd have to pay for it. You have to be a Patreon. You have to pay this much a month for those type of graphics. So for Bedrock to just release it, that's pretty cool.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into our listener comments. Okay. Remember, like always, guys, our listener comments usually come from the Discord. So if you'd like to leave us a comment or something, join the Discord, link, show notes, all the good jazz. But this week's comment comes from Dev. And Dev says, or asks, what is the most recognizable block in Minecraft? Also, what block, in your opinion, with no context, someone could see and go, oh, that's from Minecraft? I'll let you go first, Jimbo.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is the grass block.
Yep.
It is the logo of the game, and as soon as I see that, boom, Minecraft, I think immediately.
Yeah. I mean, I could go really cheaty with this and say Creeper Head, because that's in vanilla game. You can get a Creeper Head in vanilla.
Yeah.
With no data packs or no nothing. So, to me, the Creeper Head is the most recognizable block from Minecraft. Other than the grass block. I totally agree with Jimbo. My first pick would have been grass block if he didn't say it.
That's why I wrote it down so fast. I think I better get this in there before he steals it again. Stealer.
Exactly.
But yeah, the creeper, I understand that. It's probably the most recognizable mob.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, it is a block. It is a block. There's other blocks I could see. I've been playing Minecraft for a long time that I could be able to tell, hey, that's from Minecraft. But
yeah, I mean, the items are so easy, like a diamond pickaxe or a diamond sword.
Yeah.
Those are so recognizable. But Dev said block, not item.
Mm-hmm.
So,
HB Dev.
HB Dev. I agree with Jimbo. I'd put grass block as number 1, but I would put a creeper head as number 2.
Cool with that.
Cool with that?
That's about right.
All right. Let's go ahead and move into this week's Discord ad. And this week's ad is from me, Jason.
Hey friends, it's me, Jason, and I'm a member of the Withering Effect Discord. It's a great place to talk to your fellow listeners and give your input into the show. You might even get your question or comment read out on a future episode. Join the Discord today. Link is in the show notes, and I'll see you there. Duds 100% this message.
Alright, thanks me, Jason, for doing the ad. Remember, you guys can record Discord ads if you want. Just hit us up on the Discord. Let us know, hey, you're wanting to record, and we'll hook you up with the script and tell you all the little things you got to do. It's not very hard. It takes a couple seconds, and it really helps us out.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sorry, I'm looking at my Audacity, and the little background noise is larger than it usually is. And I'm over here going, man, I'm going to have to noise filter the crap out of this. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's finally picking up Susie snoring, because she is going to town tonight.
I can't hear her on my end.
Yeah, I can't tell either. I just see the sound wave bar.
Yeah.
So, fun stuff, giving you guys a little behind the scenes.
It's not too fun. But
yeah, not too fun
extra work
for me. But let's get into Block of the Week. This week we asked you to vote in the Discord. There's a theme happening here, guys. To vote in our Discord, which of the following blocks me and Jimbo discussed this week. Your choices were the repeater, the loom, and a furnace.
And the winner this week is Loom. Way to go, Loom.
Every time you say that, I picture Pokemon, where like it was going to the commercials and it was like just showing a shadow and it was like, guess which Pokemon this is? And then when you come back from a commercials, you'd be like, it's Pikachu.
It's Pikachu.
But anyways, go ahead.
The loom is generated naturally in shepherd houses. It's crafted with 2 string and any of the 2 or any planks used. 2 of any planks. Jesus. Crafted with 2 strings and 2 planks of any wood block. Jesus. Okay.
Jimbo, this was your one note.
This is, it's not even big. I wrote it. God didn't even write it for me. You also get 5 patterns in Java and 7 patterns in Bedrock.
Yeah, what the heck, Bedrock? Not only do you get RTX, you get multiple patterns.
Mm-hmm. I guess. And they can die with cauldrons.
Oh, yeah. No, that's such a great feature. Anyways, so going on to what I would change about the loom. The loom was a tough one because it's not that old of a block, and I think it does fulfill its purpose pretty well.
Yeah.
Some ways I would fix it, quote unquote, because I don't think it's broken. But unlimited layers for banners, finally. You can have unlimited layers in creative, but in survival you can't.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you're limited to like 6. So I feel that obviously if it can be done in creative, it should be done in survival, and I think the loom should give you the ability to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it already really helps out with dyes because it doesn't take as many dyes to do patterns anymore. But I feel like unlimited layers would be extremely cool. And also, I'd like the loom to act like a chest when you have to create the custom patterns. So, like, in this week's episode, I tried to make, like, a cowhide banner. And I needed the Oxydaisy pattern. Which one, I didn't know I had to go get an Oxydaisy and create a pattern for it. But now I've got this random pattern in a chest or something. It'd be really cool if I could store it in the loom. And the loom would remember that it's there, so I don't have to constantly use a pattern to make a banner.
Yeah, that would be a pain just to keep getting that pattern out.
Yeah, I see.
It's understandable.
I get why that wouldn't be like top priority. I would rather have unlimited layers before a chest-like block to store stuff. But yeah,
kind of like an inventory in there.
Mm-hmm.
My fix were just more patterns. Like to see. I mean, we got 5. Really, Mojang, 5 patterns. I don't think the piglin pattern was added, so there might be 6.
Yeah,
and 8 on Bedrock.
I love that piglin pattern. It's so simple, but so cool.
Yeah, but like 6. I'm pretty sure we can come up with more patterns. I like the fact that you can make your own thing. Mm-hmm. That's always cool. But it would just be cool to see more patterns. I don't use it as much, and I think I would if we had a little bit more. It's just, again, like you said, you have this pattern sitting there.
Oh, I just figured out why my little bar or background noise hum. Sorry. It was the stupid hard drive and my PC ramped up.
Oh, do you have to turn it down or something?
I don't know why it was ramped up. I'm not using it, but it was.
So. It's ramping.
Anyways, yes, I agree with you.
But like I was saying, the patterns, like, though you have so many more, like you said, you have a pattern sitting there in a chest. Mm-hmm. I mean, how many more can you put in there? I don't know.
Yeah. And see, I don't know how hard it is for them to create patterns, or if it would be worth someone creating a data pack that would allow you to have more custom patterns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you already have the Mojang logo pattern, which is almost impossible to get right because you need the enchanted golden apple to make. Like, I don't think a regular golden apple does that.
Yeah, I don't know.
So it's like, well, there's one pattern nobody's ever going to use in survival. Because the enchanted golden apple is so hard to get nowadays. Because you can't craft it anymore. You have to find it. And if I find it, I'm going to eat that sucker so I can get the all food advancement.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it for Block of the Week?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of patterns I'd use. But I really can't. I don't know. Like you said, an apple. Maybe an apple pattern. There's so many patterns they could do.
Well, I mean, I definitely think every mob should have a pattern.
Yeah.
That would be a lot of work, but of course, I would want to use a mob head as the pattern maker, but all the mob heads aren't in the game yet, which I feel that should have been put in the game for a long time already. But who knows? Anyways,
they know.
Should we get into kingbdogz tweet?
Sure.
Okay, so this tweet is what was going to be the topic for last week before I basically had a coughing fit from you-know-where, and just, it took everything I had to get as far into that recording as I did. This week, I've only coughed once during recording, and it was basically to mark where the hard drive sped up so I know how to noise cancel it.
It's a forced one. Forced cough.
Yeah, I faked it to make it easier to see in editing.
Fake it till you make it.
Exactly. But this tweet says, what do you think are the greatest weaknesses and strengths of Minecraft bosses from a design perspective? Now, we took this a little further. Jimbo did weaknesses and strengths as in what you like and dislike for each mob. And I'm going to talk about the design, philosophy behind the fights. And so that way we should have all your bases covered. So I'm going to let's start with weaknesses or dislikes first for each one. I'll do the weaknesses of the dragon fight, and then you can do your what you didn't like about the dragon fight, and we'll see if anything overlaps.
Okay.
So my weakness for the dragon fight, since I just fought the dragon, I would think a lot of my theories were confirmed, but it wasn't. Like, when I fought the dragon before, my biggest complaint was if you fought the dragon solo, that thing locked onto you, and it was very hard to take out the end crystals while it was locked onto you the entire time. It's easier when it can track somebody else and you're kind of free to pillar up if you need to and destroy the end crystals. I didn't have that problem on this last dragon fight. It was very strange for me because Swabby's behind me working the camera, and the entire time I'm like, he's on my back, and he's like, nah, you've got a clear go. And I was just like, okay. So that design has been changed, but I may have just got lucky. The other weakness in the design idea for me is that it's a long fight with not a lot of action. Killing the end crystals took longer than killing the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the fact that I'm more scared of looking at an Enderman than I am the dragon itself, I think it's a big weakness to the dragon fight.
Yeah, I think I get killed by Enderman more than the dragon when I go in there for that.
But those are my weaknesses for the dragon fight, Jimbo. What do you not like about the dragon fight?
From a design perspective, this is where I kind of put my weaknesses and strength. From a design perspective, the weakness of the fight is the block griefing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like how the dragon can just take away your blocks, though I understand it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to can't like, cage it in, but
it'd be so cool if you could.
Yeah, it would. I mean, I was thinking maybe it can like give damage to the blocks or whatever, but like to just completely go through the blocks, I don't like that. Mm-hmm. Never did like that.
Well, let's put it, it's not just going through the blocks. If you pillar up with any kind of block other than obsidian or endstone, it knocks it down. Like, it's gone. It disappears.
Yeah, it's obsidian and endstone are the only ones that won't grief. So if you were to try to build something around it, those would be the blocks.
All right. You got anything else? Obviously, Enderman, you're on board with that too.
Yeah, the whole Enderman thing. They're just as much of a pain as the drag, probably if not more. You know, just try not to look at the Enderman, and you have to look up to get this dragon. And yeah, that's another thing. But it makes it challenging. So yeah, that's why my weakness was the block reefing. I didn't like that.
All right. Well, let's get into what I like about the design aspect, and it takes part of what I don't like, and that's the end crystals. I love the idea of the end crystals, so don't get me wrong there. The fact that they take longer to destroy than the dragon itself is my real problem. I like having the end crystals there. I like how some of them are caged, so you have to change your battle plan, per se, to take those out. And that's where I spent a lot of my planning for the dragon fight. Was like, okay, so the caged crystals, I'm going to have to pillar up. I'm not going to be able to pull off one of those shots that just go straight up, straight down through the iron bars and takes the end crystal out. So I was like, well, what's a quick way to do that? So I brought TNT with me, because if I could just get up there, place a TNT and light it, surefire, 100% gonna take out the end crystal. But then I was like, well, now I'm pillaring up, leaving myself exposed. If the dragon hits me, what happens when I fall? So I would always put a bucket of water down at the bottom of the pillar whenever I would pillar up. But then I was like, well, I've been hit by the dragon, and they've hit me over the void before. So that's not good. So I ended up AFKing out in the open during nighttime to get phantoms to spawn. So I could hunt phantoms for membrane to make slow falling potions. So if I got hit really high in the air over the void, I could take a slow falling potion and kind of work my way back to the island. Mm-hmm. None of which I needed.
It helps to have feather falling, but sometimes you get hit so far, it's not going to help.
Yeah.
It does. I noticed having an ender pearl in my inventory, if I'm ever hit up real high, just throw an ender pearl down.
Oh, that's another dislike I forgot to mention. I watched Hermitcraft do their dragon fight early on in the season, right? And they just happened to get a platform that spawned way out from the island. I was like, oh man, that's really rare. Usually it's right next to the island. It's not that big of a deal. You may have to pillar out 2 or 3 blocks. Not that big of a deal. Well, before I did my fight, I remembered them having that problem. You know what? I went, you know what? I'm going to bring extra pearls with me just in case. And sure enough, when I landed on that obsidian platform, the spawn island was like 30, 40 blocks away.
In the void?
In the void. And I went, holy cow, I'm not going to pillar bridge across this gap. So luckily I had ender pearls and I could toss an ender pearl to the island. But that obsidian platform needs to be coded to not be so far away from that island.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of the things I was just like, I can't believe that happened. And I was so thankful I had remembered to bring pearls with me just in case that were to happen. Because honestly, when I saw it, I went, great, I'm jumping into the void and killing myself just to start over.
Yeah, I noticed that they always spawn in like a circle.
Yeah.
A certain pattern. But yeah, sometimes the The island's not very even, so they will spawn all the way out there. Yeah.
But what do you like about the dragon fight?
From a design perspective, I like how you have to defeat the dragon to leave safely. You can leave anytime you want.
Yeah,
but,
jump into the void.
Yeah, but to leave safely, to beat the game, you have to beat the dragon. I like that idea. You don't go into the end unless you're ready to fight this dragon. I really like that.
I do too. I agree with that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else about the dragon fight we like or dislike. I think I'm good.
Yeah.
I would like my dragons to drop elytras because it's me.
Yeah.
But I get why they don't. Let's go into our next fight, which I'm going to go ahead and combine these to kind of save time. And it's going to be the Wither fight. And we're going to combine... We had Wither skeletons down, mainly because of me. I feel Wither skeletons are the Nether boss. Because you don't see a lot of Wither fights happening in the Nether. One, because that would be crazy with all the lava around you.
Yeah.
So we're going to combine Wither skeletons and the Wither fight into one boss, what we like, don't like kind of things. Like the Wither skeletons, I don't like the other mobs having to deal with to get a Wither skeleton skull.
Yep.
Like if a pigman were to pick up a dropped skull, I now have to kill that pigman to get the skull. And that's almost
friends.
Yeah, that's almost more difficult than killing the Wither skeleton. Because you gotta one-shot it, or his friends are coming for you.
Yep, now he's got a helmet armor with the skeleton head, so it might take 2 shots.
Yeah, but the Wither fight itself, the thing I don't like, and this is... I didn't know about this till I watched Grian fight the Wither this season in Hermitcraft, where flying with the Wither, it just keeps going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. And I was just like, that's wrong. Like, the thing should be... And obviously the Wither was coded before elytras were put in the game. So it's made to track you at a lower level. It's not made to track you at a higher level. So I can see why it's going up. But I think that definitely needs to be changed into a lower... Like, hey, the Wither is not going to go above 100 blocks in the air or something like that.
Or if you get so far away, like if you fly 40 blocks above him, he tracks something else. You know, why would he track you that far away? Yeah, that's another thing. I guess that could definitely make a difference.
Yeah, but keep going. What are some weaknesses with Wither skeletons and the Wither fight?
The Wither skeletons, from a design perspective, I think are just too easy. You could throw a block up and make a two block high gap, and they can't touch you. Yeah, they can't get you. Like you said, you have that problem where pigmen get in the way, or there's a blaze down the hall shooting flames at you. That happens. So it can be a little tricky in that sense, but I just think if you go in there with some blocks and you just lure them into that too high block area, they cannot get you. And it's pretty easy to get the skeletons if you're pretty cautious. The Wither, on the other hand, what I don't like about that is just how it's so hard to control. There's only so many things you can do to keep that Wither one spot. As of right now, I think it's the end gates they're using to keep the Wither in one place because it's got the bedrock around it. But besides bedrock, it breaks every block, and it's hard to control.
I agree. I think Obsidian should be more defiant to Wither blasts. I know it will do all but the blue ones, like the blue heads, I think will break Obsidian, but the normal black heads won't, if that makes sense. So I
think I've heard that.
Yeah, like the blue heads are meant for the Wither. Whenever the Wither feels trapped and it's trying to get away, it'll use the blue heads as a way to kind of explode the area around it to make a new path. Whereas the black heads are targeting an entity and trying to kill it, so it's not too worried about that.
Give you the wither.
Yeah. Things I like about the Wither fight. It is harder than the dragon fight. I am more scared about the Wither fight than I am the dragon fight. And that kind of seems a little backwards because the dragon fight's the end-all be-all fight of the game, supposedly. To me, it's the Wither fight. The The Wither fight's the end-all be-all of the game. With the Wither skeletons, I love how you have to do this other process before you can even unlock the ability to fight this bad A boss. Carl didn't have to bleep me out there. It's very cool, and it's not intuitive that you would have to do this. Like, skeletons can drop heads, zombies can drop heads, creepers can drop heads in a very maniacal kind of way where you have to use a charge creeper to do it. A Wither skeleton, it just drops its head to a sword randomly. So,
depending on your looting level.
Yeah, it stands out. You're like, well, I've got this head. What does that do? And to put it on soul sand in a T formation to make 3 heads, I wouldn't think to do that unless the game tells me to, or unless I'm watching a behind the scenes video or something. So I really like that about the Wither fight. Not so much the fight itself, but the process leading up to the fight. To me, that always seems way more fun.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I like the fact that you have to build it to fight it.
You have to create your own death.
Yeah, that's good there. I also have the same thing with the difficulty level. That's the strength that I like about the Wither from a perspective, design perspective, is just it's so difficult. It's a lot easier underground if you have a 1x2 tunnel to lure it down. It's a lot easier that way. But out in the open, good luck. I mean, they're not very easy.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Let's move on to our last kind of boss fight that we have listed, and that's the Guardians.
Elder Guardian.
Which I think is the weakest boss fight in the entire game. So, to defeat the Guardians, quote-unquote, because they just constantly respawn in the temple, the only things you're defeating is the Elder Guardians, and they're just a bigger size Guardian, which, to me, is what makes it not a good fight, a weakness to the fight, is they don't move very well because they're bigger than the Guardians, and the Guardian Temple is a confined space, and these guys are confined into rooms, so they don't move very well. Not to mention, you just got to go invisible, and those things can't see you. Super easy to kill.
It's the best way to do it. Same thing. I have that as the weakness. It's just very easy to defeat the Elder Guardian. Not very difficult at all, especially if you have a trident. I recommend taking a trident down there. But yeah, the other Guardians are smaller. I think they're quicker. They're harder to see. But
and there's so many of them. You're getting double, triple teamed all the time.
Yeah. The Elder Guardians are a little harder to find if you know exactly where you're going, which I don't. It's still amazed at me to this day. If you know where to go, they're in those areas. But to get through it can be a little difficult to get through the temple. But yeah, to fight the Guardian, man, it's really you're fighting off the other Guardians just to get to him, pretty much. And the fact that it drops a 1 sponge, like really,
yeah. Can we please craft sponges already? Like, I get the sponges being in ocean monuments is a way to force us to go explore ocean monuments, but you don't get a lot of sponges from that, if any. Let's not forget, some ocean monuments spawn with no sponge room.
It's happened to me.
Right. So, crafting sponges would be really nice.
Yeah.
So, things I like or a strength of Guardian fights. It's the Guardian Temple itself. It's a very cool structure. It's a very unique structure in the fact that no other boss, really, other than a Wither skeleton, has its own little temple. I guess you could count the main island for the dragon fight as its own little area, but I just see that island as the end. I don't see it as the dragon's home.
Yeah.
The Guardian Temple or Ocean Monument I see as an Elder Guardian or a Guardian's home that I'm invading to get supplies, so that's my strength. Not to mention the drops are really cool.
Yeah. My strength is the fact that they give you mining fatigue. You just can't blow through the walls and find these guys. They make it a maze. They make it to where, I mean, you could take milk down there. You'd have to take a good bit because you're going to get mining fatigue over and over and over and over. You can't go near these Elder Guardians without it, without getting mining fatigue. So I did like that. What else was there? Like you said, I like the fact that it's got its own like palace underwater and you're invading.
Yeah. You truly do feel like a conqueror when you beat the Guardian Temple.
Yep. Especially once you drain it too. It's mine now.
All
You
right,
don't have to drain anymore, though.
Yeah, you don't. I'm looking forward to that because that's my next big farm. Is an ocean monument. So
I'm so over monuments right now.
I know you've built two seasons in a row.
Yeah, I enjoy them. Like it's fun time defeating it, but like once you're like right in the middle of it, you're like, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah,
I'm
done with this.
Instant regrets.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, the drops are great. So
overall, let's look at all the fights all together. Okay. Is there one thing that you would change about all the fights together? Like for me, I think all the fights should give you better loot. And I mentioned that the dragon should drop an elytra. Better loot. I think a wither fight should drop something better, like maybe a withering enchantment for a sword. So you can actually wither mobs when you hit it. Something like that. Maybe a guardian temple gives you a... what are those? We talked about this last live stream, and I forgot the name of it then. The underwater beacon.
Okay, the conduit.
Conduit. I don't know why I can't remember that thing's name. But
I think that'd be a good drop.
Yeah, maybe a guardian temple. You can find one of those in there. Just better loot to make you want to do these things.
Yeah.
What about you? Is there anything you would change on all of them like that?
I never really thought about this question.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm asking it at the end of the show. Surprise attack.
I don't know. I like a challenge, and I feel like I played it for so long that it's not so much challenging for me to go in there to beat the dragon, to beat the wither, elder guardian.
So you just ramp up the difficulty level.
Yeah, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but it's not as difficult as I would like it to be. Like maybe throw in... The dragon fight can be difficult because the Enderman. I saw a mod where people put in like shulkers while they're fighting the dragon.
Yeah.
That looks fun to me. It'd probably be very frustrating the most, but that looks fun. The wither's pretty difficult as it is.
There's ways to cheese it, but I like the fact that you can cheese some boss fights because there are times where you just don't want to deal with fighting the boss in a normal way.
True.
Like, whenever I go back and refight the dragon, I'm fighting the dragon with the elytra on because those end crystals go from taking me 7 to 8 minutes to destroy to they're down in less than 30 seconds because you just fly around with the bow. Bang, 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 done.
Yeah. There's really no point to go back and fight it if it doesn't drop an elytra, which makes you... Yeah. The XP, but you can easily make an Enderman farm.
Well, I'm thinking like lingering potions so you can get dragon's breath.
Yeah, that also. Need the dragon for that. That's true. But yeah, I'd probably just ramp up the difficulty. I just feel like they're a little bit easier. Mm-hmm. But then again, that could be just me.
I think that's kind of it for the show. You want to read us out?
Sure. If you like the show, you can share it with all your friends and on social media. If you listen to Spotify, follow us. Or if you listen on Apple Podcasts, leave us a nice review. Doing any of these really helps the show reach more listeners. If you would like to get in contact with us, send an email to podcast@rippleeffectsmp.com. Tweet us, leave us a voice message, or join our Discord where you can have a chat with everyone who works on the show and fellow listeners. All the links are in the show notes.
And this show has been brought to you by Jimbo and myself, but also our digital producer, Carl. He helps make sure the show ends up where it should and not in some ocean monument. The amazing music you hear in the intro and outro is created by the one and only DiiKoj. Everybody's social media info can be found in the show notes. You guys have been so awesome, like always. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming up in the next couple episodes. What is it? This is episode 41, so 9 episodes from now. Look out. But like always, guys, thank you so much for getting withered with us. You should go drink some milk by now. Bye.
See you later.